Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect. My name is Pete and today we complete both the Quarantine and the Horde Labs quest on Noveria. This is very likely going to be the second to last video about Noveria, so we will head out for new adventures pretty soon. For the moment, however, we are in the Quarantine Lab, armed with the task to grab a cure for some sick scientists. Before we do that, we can loot the place. There are 3 doors on the side here. The first one does not contain anything, the second one has a medkit, however, and then the one in the back has a storage locker. After using decryption, we can get our hands on some pretty solid weaponry, especially the Thunder 5 assault rifle is quite nice. There is another locked container right here next to the lab station. Once again, some weapons, and now we can start to make a cure. To do so, we only need to press the switch vial button every time the bar is in between the 2 arrows. We need to do so a couple of times, and that should do the trick.
Your mission ends here, Shepard.
I thought she seemed odd.
So if I remember correctly, there was a guard positioned outside to prevent things like this from happening.
What happened to Ventralis's man?
I didn't have permission to come in. He got in my way. I was ordered to eliminate you should the opportunity arise. And here you are, trapped in this lab. Weapons free!
Alright, we want to hit Singularity on both Alestia and the Geth, while at the same time disable the biotic abilities of the Asari Commando with some damping. Then we can also use Overload that removes the shields of pretty much everyone, including Alestia, who we can then hit with Warp, and that's the first enemy taken care of. But the Commando is definitely the priority next, so let's use a Sabotage on her. Then we can finish off the Geth, lift her up, and bring the fight to a swift conclusion.
That's the last of them.
We also have the guard next to the door here. He will once again come into play later on. For now, however, let's leave.
They came out of there.
I assume you talk about the people who just ambushed us?
Who came out of what?
The synthetics that attacked you. Benezia brought them with her.
Well, good to know, but nothing we hadn't figured out already.
I'll be leaving now.
Alright, now with this firefight survived and the cure in our hands, we can fast forward ourselves the way back through a couple of elevators and back to Dr. Cohen.
Is that the cure? You did it?
Yeah, I would say we did it. Wasn't all that easy though.
I think so. It was hard to concentrate while dodging gunfire.
You were attacked? I don't know anything about that. I hate conflict. I've never even fired anyone. I have my receptionist do it. Look, the guards, they've been more on edge since you got here. I think they were expecting you. And there are more labs in the back. The guards won't even let me back there. Just people with clearance.
Yeah, as you mentioned those other labs.
What about the maintenance area? Do you have access to that?
The maintenance area? Yes. Take my pass. But there's just snow back there. Let me see that file. An extension on Phelps' work? I thought he was on the right track. I can't thank you enough that... Oh, God, what a cliché. You saved their lives, do you know that?
As a quick thank you gift, we can schmooze ourselves into some medi-gel.
Could you spare a few medical packs? They're worth their weight in gold up here.
You didn't get these from me. Ventralis wanted them saved for his people. I need to administer this. Thanks again.
And then we get a whopping 24 Paragon points for completing the quest. And completing that quest was vital because what we will do next marks somewhat of a point of no return. We could now use Dr. Cohen's clearance and get into the maintenance area, and that would very quickly bring us to the closing sections of Noveria. However, before we do that, there is still the issue concerning the Rachni and the Horde Labs, and that's what we're going to take care of next. Those Horde Labs were locked when we first arrived on Rift Station. However, we were granted access by Captain Ventralis after helping him out in the firefight against some Rachni in the last video. To get to the Horde Labs, we need to exit the opening area with Ventralis via the elevator here. Let's quickly speed that up. And then out here we can turn the corner to the right and summon the elevator to the Horde Labs. Alright, we have reached the Horde Labs and for the moment not much is going on inside. There is, however, one person to talk to.
Are you here to secure the situation?
Well, sort of. How about you?
How are you holding up?
You must listen to me. If we do not contain our mistake, they will drop bombs from the battle stations. You understand?
Okay, so while we are still alive, can you tell us anything about Benezia?
Wait, is there an Asari Matriarch here?
Sorry? I have not seen one.
She is safe then, at Rift Station.
This is not important. You must be listening. Binary Helix found an egg. It was on a derelict ship, thousands of years drifting. This was Rachni's ship. Inside they find many eggs in cryogenic suspension.
And of course they couldn't resist, right?
They brought it here to wake it up?
Binary Helix planned to clone Rachni, mass produce them, create an army. But when they get here, they find this egg is not a common Rachni. It is a queen. After she lays eggs, they move her to Rift Station. They are thinking that without her, they can raise the babies to be obedient.
You're only talking about the queen. Is there any kind of father to these babies?
Hold on. Don't you need a male to get eggs?
Queens are born carrying the genetic code of their fathers. Eggs are carried away from the colony to hatch alone. Queens can lay eggs in hours and have a colony in days. This is how they spread so quickly.
Plus, they sure as hell are not an obedient race.
Separating them from their mother didn't work.
This was exactly the wrong thing to do. I am thinking that without a queen, Rachni do not develop properly. Her mind is shaping theirs. These Rachni are uncontrollable.
Well, then I suggest we better do something about them.
This is fascinating, but we don't have time to chat.
These Rachni are beyond saving. It is a sad thing, but they must be euthanized. I am thinking that the Neutron purge must be set off.
Okay, care to explain what that is about?
I'm not familiar with the purge system.
It creates bursts of neutron radiation, kills everything within the station. Things beyond get genetic damage of varying degree.
Okay then, just tell us what to do.
How do we set off the purge?
Arming controls are nearby. All you do is insert the key. Then I will give Nera destruct.
Hostile contact.
Alright then, another Rachni. This one is alone, however, so pretty easy to deal with. A simple lift to immobilize it is enough, and shortly after we have taken care of the situation. Now, before we go to the back, let's turn around and loot Tartakovsky's body, as we need some codes to activate the Neutron purge, and those are on him. Then we can proceed into the back and activate Mira.
Connecting. I have full access to the facility and am at your disposal.
Now, before we activate the purge, we can get some more information, and let's start with a status report.
What's the status of the facility?
Containment breach in Laboratory Pod Gamma. The Neutron purge system is functional, but has not been armed.
Then we can ask her about Matriarch Benezia.
Is there an Asari here?
There is an Asari I cannot identify standing next to you.
How you tolerate literal-minded VIs is beyond me.
There are no others visible to my remaining internal sensors.
And lastly, about the threat we are about to face, because let's be honest, just walking in here, having a quick chat and then activating the purge would be a bit too easy now, would it?
How many Rachni are in here?
I'm sorry, the sensor network is too damaged to provide an accurate count.
Well, how about you use your superior intellect and give us a good estimate?
Give me your best guess.
Guessing is beyond my design parameters, Commander.
Alright, then I suppose the only thing that we have left to do is activate the Neutron purge.
Activate the Neutron purge.
I'm sorry, but I can't do that without proper code authorization.
Well, good thing we grabbed that code earlier, right?
Code input 875-020-079. Code Omega. Local execution.
Verified. Code Omega execution in 120 seconds.
Alright, now don't let yourself be fooled by the minimap. The fight that comes next is kind of hard, but the number of Rachni we're facing is not that much. There are two right by the door here that we want to take out first, and we can use overkill to do so, and Tali and Liara will help out as well. Alright, quick break in the action to level up. For Shepard we will use 1 point to grab Master Unity, and then we will spend the other point on Intimidate, and we might use that in the foreseeable future. For Liara and Tali we proceed as usual, 1 point in Singularity and then 1 point in Damping. And now let's get back to the fight. With the first 2 Rachni out of the way, a few more make their way into the room, and we can first focus on those on the left. We can use Lift to immobilize them, but then we have to quickly retreat. Shepard has taken quite a few hits, so let's use some medi-gel. Then, with the use of Throw, we can turn our attention to the Rachni on the right, and whenever possible take out the workers in between, as they are absolutely annoying when they get close. Your priority should be the soldiers though, as those are the ones that stand between Shepard and the exit. One more time we can use Throw, then fire away, quickly focus back on the Rachni worker here, and then take out Rachni soldier number 4. Now we have 2 larger groups on the back left and the back right, so let's immobilize the one on the left with Singularity, activate Overkill, then move all the way to the right here, so we're harder to hit for the other group, and then let's fire away. We can throw a Warp and the Sabotage in there, that brings 1 more Rachni down, then we can use Lift on the group to the right to keep them busy, and a few seconds later the last Rachni on the left falls. The 2 on the right have already taken quite a bit of damage from Liara and Tali. With a Throw we can immobilize them further, take out the first one, then with over 25 seconds left we can use Overload and engage 3-on-1, which should do the trick. Alright, that's the Rachni in the hot labs taken care of, at least those that were brave enough to go up here. For all the others we have the Neutron purge, and that goes hot in a few seconds, so time for us to get out of here, call the elevator and leave. And let's fast forward ourselves back into the main area of Rift Station. As we arrive back in the entrance area and leave the elevator, the first thing we can notice: no more Captain Ventralis. He and his guards have left their position, maybe because all the Rachni are gone, or maybe for some other reason. We will get to the bottom of this shortly as we go through this door.
I'm sorry about this, Shepard. We've got orders from Benezia. Open fire!
Alright, seems like Ventralis is also on Benezia's payroll. We can open things up with Overload and Throw on him. He is by far the toughest enemy in the room. We also want to use Damping on the guards in the back because those have tech abilities. Then we can throw in Lift, get into some cover and fire away. The first guard here falls quickly. Then we can use Singularity on Ventralis himself. As he lands, hit him with Sabotage and Overkill. Then quickly retreat, take some medi-gel, and move back in for the kill. That leaves only a few guards, and thanks to your use of Throw in the beginning, one of them is stuck on the side here, something we can exploit for an easy kill. There are 2 more here, and let's use Throw, and that also places him beside the platform. Overload removes the shields, and we have both of them on a silver platter. For some reason I thought it was a good idea to use Singularity here, however that only moved him further out of the way, and it took a bit longer to get the kill. Now there are 2 more red dots on the minimap, and those are the assault drones in the back here. Those are the ones that guard the door to the other labs, and this is the door that I said in the last episode we will not break into. Now, however, after taking care of the drones, the door is unlocked and we can march right through. We could also use the path through the maintenance area, but this one provides us with a few more firefights, which means few more XP. Those firefights are not all too difficult. We are facing rather weak enemies, we are normally not outnumbered, and the few well-placed biotic abilities render most of those enemies rather harmless. Alright, that's the first group of enemies dealt with. Let's go through the door here and on to the next one. A few explosive containers also make our life a bit easier. Then we find another guard stuck here and ready to be taken out. For the other two we can use throw, although that's not necessary. We can also simply rely on our superior firepower. One last enemy remains, and well, let's use overload, we haven't done so in a while. And then we have completed this section as well. We can now go up the stairs and then immediately face 4 more enemies, 3 of them nicely huddled together. While the first one goes flying, those in the back are a prime target for sabotage, and once we have them all together in the back, let's use singularity and then just fire at this cloud of flying people. The use of warp helps us make the first guy fall. For the remaining 2 we can use throw again, and guess what, that gets them stuck, so they are easy to deal with now. Wonderful, now we can continue, and the only way out of here is through another elevator. At the end of this one we can find 2 upgrade kits, and don't take these one as rewards for what we just accomplished, but rather view them as preparation for what's still to come. We have also received a few items in the firefights before. One of them is the Thunder 6 assault rifle, which is a little less accurate but a lot more powerful than the Tsunami 5, and therefore we will make that switch. We will also switch from Shredder to polonium rounds and upgrade Liara's Raikou 4 pistol with a Raikou 5. Then we can move on, go through the door, and to the left here, this is where we can continue with the quest. However, there are still a few free experience points around, and it would be stupid not to grab them. What we're doing now is we will go the reverse path through the maintenance area, and we are being immediately rewarded for that with a nice storage locker with some good weaponry. We can then go through this door here and are greeted by another Rachni, the last one we will face on Noveria, and Sabotage, Lift and Overkill take quick care of this one. Then we can proceed through this icy tunnel here, and this is going to lead us straight back to the area where we exited the quarantine lab. We could have used this way to proceed the main quest line immediately after talking to Dr. Cohen, which would have let us skip the entire hot lab section, but we would have missed out on some crucial background information and also a lot of experience points that way, and both of those are things that I won't even consider in a completionist playthrough. The reason we went all the way back here is because there are 2 more guards waiting for us. After the use of throw, the first one is rather quickly dealt with, however. And then, would you please look at who's the other one? Yes, that lying right here on the floor is the guy that was safeguarding the quarantine lab, and for some reason he has returned from the dead. I think it's our duty here to undo that, and with him we have taken out every last guard in the area, which means we can now quickly return to where I said the main quest would continue. Alright, and through the door we can already spot what's coming next. That's Matriarch Benezia right in front of us. However, what comes next also takes quite a while and is best experienced in one go, and for that reason we will make the cut here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you with Matriarch Benezia next time. Cheers.